I made sure that he was taken care of, even in death. That's what I've been doing. But also, not just that, I went to all of my nephew's schools. I met with their principals and their teachers to ensure that they are okay. I gave them and made sure that they had grief counseling and that they're seeing a psychiatrist. That's what I've been doing. And while you're talking about hard work, you need to realize that our job is not just in this state house with these marble floors. Our jobs are on the streets and in the communities that we serve. And so while you've been here passing bills that have been hurting transgender children, while you've been here passing bills that have been hurting the poor, hurting the marginalized, hurting the disenfranchised, while you've been here passing bills that have not ended poverty, while you've been here passing bills that have not helped people who need Medicaid expansion, while you've been here doing the hard work of making sure that our state is not the state that it can be, because you have decided.
Representative Pearson.
Reality of our situation is only to be.
Representative Pearson.
While you've been here doing that, I've been in my community.
Representative Pearson.
Meeting with young people, going to school.
A few moments later.
Mr. Chairman, you have 2 ayes, 7 nays.
The noes prevail. House Bill 1392 fails.
No. No, sir. No.
5-minute recess.
Boy. Once again, we got to talk about unhinged, violent Democrats, because when they don't get their way, when there are disagreements over politics, Democrats always try to get violent when democracy does not work out in their favor, right? And that's exactly what happened in this situation right here, starring State Representative Justin Pearson, a Democrat from Memphis, Tennessee, as he confronts his fellow state rep, Andrew Farmer from Tennessee, over the fact that Pearson's gun control bill got shut down, right? It got rejected. And now he's upset. He's boohoo, whining, crying. He's mad, and he's trying to fight Republicans because his bill to roll back permitless carry in Tennessee got rejected by Republicans. Okay, so he didn't get his way, and then he tried to fight Republicans because they didn't want to go along with his legislation. Okay, so again, another example of how the Democrats are the party of violence, chaos, destruction. And again, they try to fight when they can't get their way. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this.
Fingers fly, tensions flare between 2 state legislators when a debate over firearms turned personal. We have a lot to cover tonight at 6. Thanks for being here. I'm Rory Johnston.
And I'm Carrie Sharp. The confrontation happened between Representatives Justin Pearson and Andrew Farmer. Chris Davis shows us what led up to this dramatic moment.
This bill is to repeal permitless carry.
Debate on the bill began like most do in committee hearings.
We have continued to pass legislation that has made it easier for people to have access to firearms.
Representative Justin Pearson of Memphis explaining his bill that would reinstate handgun carry permits in Tennessee.
You don't have to throw out responsible gun ownership in behalf of the Second Amendment.
When Representative Andrew Farmer of Sevierville asked to speak, things took an unexpected turn.
We've been on the House floor voting on bills. We've taken the tough questions. We've taken the tough votes.
Yeah.
And we're doing so. So I don't think it's fair for you to come here and lecture this committee on hard work when we've been up here doing the hard work.
Thank you, Chair Farmer, for your comments. They incense me. They make me very, very angry.
This was the first day Representative Pearson has been back on the Hill since the special session in January, as he grieves for the loss of his younger brother.
But let me explain to you what I have been doing, Representative, since you asked. My brother, Temperance Darnell Pearson, one of the loves of my life, passed away from gun suicide on December 1st of 2024. And since that happened, it shattered my family like gun violence has shattered so many families.
Representative Pearson, it seems that it's very common in your party when you disagree with a comment. Now, it's not disrespectful to you. That you resort to yelling. Basically, everything you just told me, you just did. I have a family. I've made sacrifices every year.
The committee chair, Representative Clay Doggett, tried to cool things down.
I know this is a very difficult time for you to be back up here. I'm sorry for all the things that you've experienced.
But yeah, so I want to explain what's going on here so that everybody kind of understands what's happening. Justin Pearson, the woke Democrat who is pushing this gun control bill, is basically using the suicide death of his brother to push this bill, right? He's trying to use emotion in order to get people to agree with his bill, right? Because again, this is what Democrats do when their arguments aren't very strong. They try to emotionally manipulate people into getting on board with their legislation, right? And they really like to do this when it comes to gun control, right? In this case, this Democrat is using the death of his brother to try to emotionally manipulate Republicans into getting on board with his gun control legislation. And the Republicans are like, no. And you're not going to sit here and lecture us about the hard work that we've been doing when you've been absent for 3 months straight. Now, the reason why this guy's been absent is because of the death of his brother. However, again, it's been 3 months. In the private sector, okay, at most jobs, you get maybe a week, 2 weeks to grieve, and then you got to come back to work. And if you don't come back to work, then, hey, that's a problem. That's an issue. Now, again, I'm not trying to say that he's not still grieving or that what happened to his brother is not hurting him deeply, okay? And I sympathize with him, okay? It is a terrible situation to go through. So again, I'm not trying to make light of that. But you have been going for 3 months straight, and you really should not be lecturing Republicans about what they did while you were gone, okay? Because ultimately, your job is to be a legislator. And, I'm not sure if taking 3 months absence is something that is excusable considering the fact that you serve the people, right? And deaths, tragedies, things like this happen in people's families. And a vast majority of the time, people got to go back to work in a timely manner, right? So again, the last thing this guy should be doing is coming up into the Capitol and trying to emotionally manipulate people into getting on board with his agenda and then getting mad when people essentially call him out for being missing, right? For not doing his job. So that's what's happening here.
Tempers really flared after Pearson's bill was defeated.
Mr. Chairman, you have 2 ayes, 7 nays.
The noes prevail. House Bill 1392 fails.
It was at this point that the state video feed stays on the voting board, and we can't see what happens next. Thankfully, we have some remarkable photos from Tennessee Lookout photojournalist John Partapillo. Pearson rushed up to where the committee members sit and confronts Farmer. We see House Majority Leader William Lamberth and several House Sergeant-at-Arms holding Pearson back as Representative Farmer avoids eye contact. This video posted on X shows the aftermath. First Farmer and later Pearson leave the chamber.
No, you're wrong. You're in the well today because you broke rules of decorum. Wouldn't you agree?
This isn't the first time these two have clashed. Another notable exchange came in 2023 when Representative Pearson was up for expulsion after leading a protest on the House floor following the Covenant shooting.
You have decided that it is not right to have debate. It is not right to listen to the voices of the minority.
So, will either representative face any consequences from this incident? Right now, it's unclear. Chris Davis, News Channel 5.
The question is not about whether or not either representative will face consequences, because the Republican, he didn't do anything wrong at all. The person that should face consequences is this guy, right? Because he tried to fight his colleague on the floor because his legislation got rejected. So let's watch this again. Again, this is the type of unhinged behavior that you see from Democrats when they don't get their way.
Mr. Chairman, you have 2 ayes, 7 nays.
The noes prevail. House Bill 1392 fails. No, sir. 5-minute recess.
Look at this guy. This image right here, I think, is the perfect encapsulation of the current state of our modern politics, right? Serious adults trying to solve problems, legislating right here, which is the Republican, okay? The white man, right? You got the white man right here, okay? And then you got the Democrat who is emotional. He's trying to fight. He's trying to use violence because he can't get his way, right? Instead of actually, being a real problem solver, being a serious legislator, a serious politician. No, this guy's a wannabe fake civil rights activist. That's what he is. That's exactly what he is. These people are nothing more than influencers. That's all they are. They're far left, woke influencers, and they're trying to go viral. This is what this dude was trying to do. He knows that people are going to pick this up, and it's going to seem like, well, he's fighting, right? He's fighting. Look at him. He's not taking it from Republicans. He's standing up to him. And this dude is just ignoring this guy, right? Again, I think this picture, it's a great representation of our modern day politics, okay? We're getting some great imagery in 2025 about the current state of things, right? Unhinged lunatics versus serious problem solvers, right? People who are actually serious about getting things done, right? Rather than trying to go viral on social media. That's all this dude is concerned about. But like I said, again, this is just another example of how Democrats react when they can't get their way. Like children, they throw temper tantrums, okay? And then they start fighting, causing all type of chaos and destruction, trying to use violence in order to get what they want. And that's just not how this works. That's not how this country works, okay? We have to have decorum. You can't be in the state capitol trying to fight people because your legislation got rejected. Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry about the loss of your brother, but you're not going to come in and emotionally manipulate people into having their rights taken away, right? That's just, it is what it is. You're not going to emotionally manipulate people into giving up their Second Amendment rights, okay? I don't know what Democrats don't understand about this, right? You can use all of the stories that you want, okay? Doesn't matter. You're not changing anybody's mind on this issue when it comes to our rights to keep and bear arms. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. If you want to change things, then you need to win some elections, right? But since you're in the minority and you're not winning, people don't agree with you, then, hey, you have to deal with the fact that the representatives of the state are enacting the will of the people. And if you don't like that, then maybe you shouldn't be a rep. Maybe you should step down. Go move to another state. Go, I don't know, go to California or something. I don't know, right? If guns are that big of a deal to you, if it's that big of an issue, move to another state. Quit. Resign. Leave your job. Because let's be real. This guy is not serious. He's not serious about solving any problems or making anybody's life better, right? He's just trying to go viral. That's all he's trying to do. He's just trying to get some attention. He's trying to fundraise. He's trying to be a fake civil rights activist. His whole getup is him trying to be something that he's not, right? He watched some Malcolm X and some Martin Luther King speeches, some speeches back from the 1950s, 1960s, and he just adopted that, right? And that's now his thing. And he think that is going to help him get things done. It's not going to help him get things done. Nobody's falling for that. Nobody's falling for that. And Democrats are becoming more and more and more unhinged, right? That's what we're saying. They're becoming more unhinged, and Democrats are silent, absolutely silent about the violent behavior that's coming from their party. But again, these are the same people that want to lecture everybody about January 6th. But when confronted about the violence within their own party, the violence from their people, in this case, a Democrat himself, right? The base and the Democrats, the actual elected representatives, are now using violence, right, to get their way. They have nothing to say about it. They have absolutely nothing to say about it.
Leftists are using violence to express their outrage over Tesla CEO Elon Musk's role in the Trump administration. But here's reaction from Democratic lawmakers when they were asked directly about these attacks.
Can you tell us what you think about what's happening with the Tesla products, the violence at the dealerships? What's your take on the situation?
I'm so sorry, I'm a little bit late here right now.
What's your take on it? Do you denounce the violence?
Why are people so upset when they see a Tesla in the parking lot? You know, I can't comment to that, you know, in terms of public sentiment. So, but do you think Democrats are to blame for why people are so triggered by this? Because no, absolutely not.
This is the Democrat Party, guys. Liberals. The base of the Democrat Party using violence when they can't get their way. Democrats get confronted on their base, their supporters using violence because they can't get their way. Democrats don't have anything to say about it. Crickets. No comment. But if you ask them about January 6th, though, right, they'll have a mouthful to say. They won't shut the hell up. But again, when it comes to domestic terrorism from their own supporters, you can't get a word out of them, right? You don't hear people about, hey, you know, political violence in this country, not right. Vandalism, terrorism, destroying property, you know, keying people's cars, blowing up cars, shooting up dealerships. Yeah, not acceptable. We shouldn't be doing that. That's not how we go about getting what we want in this country, right? You're not hearing that from Democrats. But again, these are the same people that try to lecture half the country on how you're supposed to handle not getting your way after January 6th. Again, it's amazing how that works. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.